Hello, 7th grade. Okay, so we are working on our 2-point perspective birdhouses. We should be able to finish those up today. So last week we finished everything in pencil. We have all our birdhouses on here. We've met all the requirements that we need to. And we have a garden down below. All right, so now we need to start inking some things in. So let's talk about tools and techniques that we need to use when we start working with the pens. So the hardest thing is going to be keeping some kind of idea of what's in the foreground, what's in the midground, and what's in the background. So my suggestion to you is start with everything that is in the foreground first. So if you have some leaves that overlap the pole, or even a flower that might overlap the birdhouse, then let's do all of that first. So you start from the front and work towards the back, and that way when you go to draw those back items and you hit that leaf, you know to stop because one is overlapping the other one. So the poles are probably going to be behind a lot of this stuff, although you can put a leaf behind the pole too. Some of your flowers can overlap on the birdhouses themselves or the birdhouses in front of the flowers. So you have to make those decisions. And then we have this overlapping birdhouse here too. So this one's in the background, this one's in the midground, and this one's in the foreground. So I'm gonna start with my garden, then I'll definitely work on this house first, then this house, then this house. So I'm sure to remember. I have erased those pencil lines, but sometimes they don't all get erased until after we have done the marker. Now, let's talk about markers. We all have this Sharpie marker. This is way too fat for this project. Don't use it. So I've already brought your teacher these other two markers. This one's great, and this one's really fine for some of those little tiny details. So I would use both of those. Kind of lay in some of these, but then you're gonna find, oh, I want to use this one on these shingles in my birdhouse. And so that's fine too. All right, so we're going to start inking everything in. Do not color anything black except the holes in the birdhouse. Remember, we've talked about this before. There is no light bulb inside the birdhouse. It's going to be super, super dark. And so you're going to color that in there. Now remember, I put this little bird peeking out of this birdhouse, so I'm going to have to color that circle around him and kind of silhouette his head. So that's the only part that's going to be super black. Let's take a look at one. So here's a birdhouse. All right, I'm working on this one. You can see the flowers are done. Some of the houses are done. We still have to lay in some more textures, and you can see how these are black just inside. Now, not that little space that shows the thickness, but way, way, way back. If you have ever tried to look inside a birdhouse, like you hear the babies chirping and you want to look in there and see them, it is close to impossible because it is so super dark in there. You have to use your phone and your little flashlight to look inside of there. So those are the only places that are going to be black, is just inside those holes. All right,